Leo, welcome to your monthly forecast for September 2023. In this video, I will be going over some of the energy that you will be moving through for the month of September. Now, coming into the month, we have a lot of sticky energy this month because we have quite a few planets retrograde. We are still working with that Venus retrograde energy, for the first few days. And Venus retrograde, Venus is right here in your first house. But Venus also rules your 10th house of career, public reputation, and your third house of communication, speaking, reading, writing, also community, neighbors, neighborhood, and also siblings and cousins. So with this Venus energy, really since June, something may have shown up for you around career. Maybe you've been rethinking your career choices, redirecting energy around your career, possibly thinking about um, you know, switching your career in some way or implementing something new within your business or career. You may also, something may have shown up around, siblings or cousins or your community or your neighbors. This may have been energy as well, where you've been, thinking of creating something where you are, speaking, reading, writing, communicating in some way, but implementing it into your career. So, like, for example, maybe, starting a podcast, maybe you've been thinking about something like that, or creating videos, for your business, something along those lines. Coming into the month, we also have Mercury retrograde here in your second house. And Mercury rules your second house because Mercury is in Virgo. So your second house, rules represents money, finances, material possessions. And Mercury also rules your 11th house of online connections, friendships, social groups. So you have quite a bit of energy where, if you do a lot online, if you have your own business, online businesses, if you work with clients, if you create something, along the lines of courses or programs in some way where you're communicating or you're writing, you have a lot of energy here where you've really been rethinking about implementing something new. On September 3rd, we have Venus stationing direct. And so, whatever you've been moving through with this Venus retrograde energy around your career, around communicating and, reading, speaking, writing, or if something has shown up for you within your community or neighbors or siblings and cousins, this is where there can possibly be, somewhat of an epiphany or insight or something showing up for you where maybe you are, not necessarily implementing and moving forward, but the idea of doing so finally comes where now okay, this is the direction I want to take with this. On September 4th, we have Jupiter stationing retrograde here in your 10th house. The interesting thing about this Jupiter retrograde is that back at the end of April, beginning of May of this year, we had Mercury retrograde over this exact spot. So Jupiter's going to move back to 5 degrees of Taurus. So Jupiter will retrograde from 15 to 5 degrees. Mercury did the same thing, retrograded from 15 to 5 degrees of Taurus. So if something was brought to your attention back the end of April, beginning of May, maybe you received some information or you had a conversation with somebody, around your career, or that had to do with, communication or whatever it is that you're really thinking about implementing into your business, or maybe hearing of a job opportunity or a promotion of some kind. This is where something else can come in around that. So quite interesting. Now, Jupiter will be retrograde until December 30th. So this is an energy that you can really be sitting with and, really thinking about for the rest of 2023. Now, this energy can also show up with fifth house topics because Jupiter rules your fifth house here, Sagittarius. You have Sagittarius in the fifth house. The fifth house rules represents children, also creativity. So again, there's a lot of energy here with creativity, creative projects, creative pursuits, really, creating something beautiful along the lines of communication. Leo, you really do have a lot of beautiful energy for, creating and implementing something along the lines of communication. Now is almost like the reflection period where you are thinking about it. It's just being birthed in a sense where the ideas are coming in and throughout the remainder of the year. And this is even coming to me intuitively. So I'm trusting that someone needs to hear this, but this will be something that you're really working on from now till the end of 2023. And when the time is right, which I'm sure I will get into, later on in the year, it will be implemented. But it's quite interesting how this is really just fitting together with creativity, work, business, career, and, speaking, reading, writing, communicating in some way. September 6th, we have the Mercury Cazimi, and you have this happening in your second house of money and finances. Now, because Mercury also rules your 11th house here of friendships and friends and social groups, humanitarian pursuits, also social media, online connections, and online pursuits. There can be something here where there's like an epiphany or insight coming in where now you know the direction that you want to take online, or if you've been moving through something with your friends with this Mercury retrograde, rethinking, possibly friendships or something coming up with friendships that you are having to sit with and reevaluate. And with this Mercury retrograde, you may also be, rethinking of what you want to put online, social media, something along those lines with this Mercury Cazimi, there can be some sudden insight or clarity or epiphany coming in. So definitely a period of time that you kind of want to be aware of and mindful of, your intuitive downloads. Yes, your intuitive downloads and intuitive messages that you are receiving, but also pay attention to the information that is coming to you on this day. Pay attention to the conversations that you are having. And that is September 6th. So, yeah, you really want to be paying attention September 6th to, your conversations, information that you are coming across, things like that. September 14th, we have the new moon in Virgo at 21 degrees here in your second house. Don't pay attention to this 13 degrees. It's actually this new moon is happening at 21 degrees in your second house of money and finances, material possessions. So this is where you can really be, setting intentions for new ways to make money, setting intentions to change your attitude around money, any subconscious to beliefs around money. You can really set intentions to change. So, and I'm feeling this intuitively too. So that's why I'm kind of presenting this to you. But even, abundance and money has its own frequency in our world. And when we are not vibrating on that same frequency, it makes it harder for us to really attract money. And this would be a great time, September 14th at the time of this new moon in Virgo to, do some money affirmations, change your frequency, raise your frequency or vibration if this is something that you struggle with, so that you can start to manifest money. So you can start to draw in abundance. You want to raise your frequency, raise your vibration so that you are vibrating at that abundance frequency. And then September 15th, we have Mercury stationing direct here in the second house. So whatever you've been moving through with this Mercury retrograde energy, whether it is money and finances, something showing up for you around money and finances while Mercury is retrograde, or whether it is, friends and friendships, if something's shown up with your friends that you've had to reevaluate, or maybe something was brought to your attention regarding your friends and friendships. Also online connections, social groups, social media, whatever you've really been, whatever you've really been moving through with this Mercury retrograde energy, when Mercury stations, this is where, again, you could have some type of epiphany, or you can have, some type of information coming in to kind of help guide you into this new direction or help bring clarity to the direction that you want to take. September 16th, we have Venus forming a square to Jupiter, Venus ruling your 10th house of career and also that third house, whatever you've been moving through with this Venus retrograde and this Venus in Leo energy. This is where, something else may show up. Now, this is an energy you've already been moving through. So something may show up with your career. If you've been, reevaluating certain things around your career, possibly thinking about changing your career or implementing something new into your career, that something can show up here around this time. Now, Jupiter also rules your fifth house, right? We already went over that because your fifth house rules creativity. And so, this is where whatever you're moving through with this, new creative pursuits, wanting to invent something new, creative ventures, and, there's more of this energy coming in. Now, this can be an energy blockage. This can be a block or a hold where maybe the stay, you're not able to move forward with something. But again, it's not really a new energy coming in. It's part of this Venus saga that we're moving through in this square. We've already been here. So, this can just be, a period of time where possibly, um, there's just an annoyance that's showing up that you have to move through. And I'm sure for some of you too, this may also have to do with children. Something may show up that you have to kind of navigate with your children. So again, just something to be mindful of. Now, on September 19th, we have really interesting energy in play, and I've been showing this to all of the signs. We have the sun forming in opposition to Neptune, and where this can be a little bit of a challenging energy collectively, where we're possibly moving through, a situation we're not understanding, we're possibly receiving information that's just confusing, what is going on, collectively, this can be felt a little bit challenging, but individually, this is a really beautiful energy to tap into. We have this beautiful kite configuration. We have the sun, which is our soul's expression right here, forming a trine to Pluto, an opposition to Neptune, and a trine to Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. This is a beautiful energy to tap into to enhance our intuition, develop psychic abilities, do any type of spiritual work, really. And then on September 20th, we have the sun form a trine to Pluto exact. Pluto is a very psychic energy, very powerful. So, this is really an energy where individually we want to be tapping into to really draw in some beautiful psychic, powerful energy to help enhance our intuition, to help enhance our psychic abilities, to really raise our frequency and vibration. And so that is September 19th and September 20th. We really want to be meditating on these days, tapping into the intuition and tapping into our intuition, but tapping into the energies around us. And then on September 3rd, we have the sun entering Libra here in your third house. So Libra season begins. Your attention is brought to third house themes and topics like community, neighbors, and neighborhood. Things, maybe something around communication. Maybe you're focusing more on creating. The sun, and it's interesting too, because whatever you were kind of moving through with the Venus retrograde, Venus rules Libra. Now the sun is in Libra. So now is when you can really tap into, that creative energy. Now is when you're possibly thinking about, creating something, whether it is a podcast, whether it is something that has to do with, speaking, reading, writing, implementing that into your business, something along those lines. Now is when you may really start to get that going. If that's something that is aligning with you, this can also be a time where maybe you're focusing more on your community or, neighborhood, or a time where you're maybe focusing more on your siblings, your cousins. Maybe you're spending more time with your siblings and cousins. September 28th, we have Venus forming a square to Uranus. And again, this can just be something showing up with this Venus energy that you're moving through. This is more, energy coming in for the Venus saga that's been playing out. This is now the third time that we're kind of moving through this energy. So, again, it's not necessarily anything new, but it can be something showing up around within your career. within your public reputation, possibly, something unexpected coming in that can be a little bit annoying that you're having to deal with and move through. This can also have to do with, siblings, cousins, something within your community showing up that you're having to work out and work through. So again, just something to be mindful of. On September 29th, we have the full moon in Aries at 6 degrees and 0 minutes, which is quite interesting. So don't pay attention to these degree points. The full moon is at 6 degrees right here in your ninth house. And so this full moon is lighting up this area of your chart. Now, ninth house themes and topics are, your belief systems, higher education, higher knowledge, long distance travel, philosophy, religion, astrology. So you may be, really thinking about and focusing on those themes and topics at the time of this full moon. This is also a time where you can start to see the manifestations from the new moon in Aries. So anything you were really trying to implement or get going the end of March, beginning of April of this year, now you can finally see those intentions come to fruition. Leo, I hope this horoscope helps you navigate the energy for September. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.